How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the lair. And today I have some more jank for you. I call this one Creatures on Sale Cheap. I popped open a Umori the other day, so I wanted to try and build a deck around him. So Umori is our companion. Umori the Collector for 2 colorless and any combination of 2 swamp or 2 forest. He's a 4/5 companion. Each non-land card in your starting deck shares a card type. And then as Umori the Collector enters the battlefield, choose a card type. Spells you cast of the chosen cost 1 less to cast. So we will be naming creatures. Onto the 1-drop, I have 4 copies of Marauding Raptor. For 1 colorless and 1 mountain, he's a 2/3. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Marauding Raptor deals 2 damage to it. If a dinosaur is dealt damage this way, Marauding Raptor gets +2/+0 until the end of turn. On to the 3-drops. I have 4 copies of Dryad of the Elysian Grove for 2 colorless and 1 forest. She's a 2/4, and her static ability says you may play an additional land on each of your turns, and lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. Also, I have 3 copies of Kethis, the Hidden Hand, for 1 plains, 1 swamp, and 1 forest. He's a 3/4. He says legendary spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard until the end of turn. Each legendary card in your graveyard gains. You may play this card from your graveyard. On to the 4-drops, I have 3 copies of Goreclaw, Terror of Sisma, for 3 colorless and a forest. He's a 4/3, and he says creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast. And whenever Goreclaw, Terror of Sisma attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 and gains trample until the end of the turn. I have 3 copies of Nylea, Keen-Eyed, for 3 colorless and 1 forest, 5/6, indestructible. As long as your devotion to green is less than 5, Nylea isn't a creature, and creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And then we can pay 2 in a forest and reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you put it into your graveyard. I have 4 copies of Beast Whisperer for 2 colorless and 2 forest. He's a 2/3, and he says whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. 1 copy of Snapdax, Apex of the Hunt, for 1 colorless, 1 mountain, 1 plains, 1 swamp. He's a 3/5 double strike. We can mutate him onto another non-human creature for 2 colorless and either a swamp or mountain and 2 plains. And whenever this creature mutates, it deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, and you gain 4 life. Onto our big stuff. I have 1 off of Kenrith, the Return King, for 4 colorless and a plains. He's a 5/5, and his mountain ability says all creatures gain trample and haste until the end of turn. His forest ability says put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. His plains ability says target player gains 5 life. His island ability says target player draws a card. And his swamp ability says put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under its owner's control. I have 1 copy of God-Eternal Oketra for 3 colorless and 2 plains. She's a 3/6 double strike. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 4/4 black zombie warrior creature token with vigilance. And when God-Eternal Oketra dies or is put into an exile from the battlefield, you may put it into its library 3rd from the top. I have 1 copy of Thryx, the Sudden Storm, for 3 colorless and 2 islands. He's a 4/5 flash flying. Spells you cast with converted mana cost 5 or greater, cost 1 less to cast, and can't be countered. I have 1 copy of Jegantha, the Wellspring, for 4 colorless and either a forest or a mountain. He's a 5/5. We're not using him as our companion, but we can tap him and add 1 plain, 1 island, 1 swamp, 1 mountain, and 1 forest, and this mana can't be spent to pay generic mana costs. I have 1 copy of Chulane, Teller of Tales, for 2 colorless and a forest, a plains, and an island. He's a 2/4 vigilance, and his static ability says whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card, and then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. And then we can pay 3 and tap, return target creature you control to its owner's hand. I have 1 copy of Illuna, Apex of Witches, for 2 colorless, 1 forest, 1 island, and 1 mountain. She's a 6/6 flying trample, but we can mutate her onto another non-human creature for 3 colorless and either a mountain or a forest and 2 islands. And whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent card. Put that card onto the battlefield or into your hand.
really appreciate you, man. Thanks for the subscription. Or the follow, I should say.
Alright, so where was I? 1 copy of Nethroi, Apex of Death for 2 colorless, 1 plains, 1 swamp, and 1 forest. He's a 5/5 Death Touch lifelink. We can mutate him onto another non-human creature for 4 colorless and either a forest or a plains and 2 swamps. And whenever this creature mutates, return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then finally we have 1 copy of Rokos, Apex of Forever for 2 colorless, 1 swamp, 1 forest, and 1 island. He's a 6/6 trample, and we can mutate him onto another creature, a non-human creature for 2 colorless and either island or swamp, and 2 forests. And then you may cast Rokos, Apex of Forever from your graveyard using its mutate ability. And then on to the high end, we have 1 copy of Yidaro, Wandering Monster for 5 colorless and 2 mountains. He's an 8/8. Trample Haste, cycle for 1 colorless and 1 mountain. And if we cycle him, instead of putting him into our graveyard, we cycle him back into our library. And if we do it 4 more times, he comes onto the battlefield instead of the graveyard. 1 copy of...
That would be awesome, man.
1 copy of Darigaaz Reincarnated for 4 colorless, 1 swamp, 1 mountain, 1 forest, 7/7 flying, trample haste. If Darigaaz Reincarnated would die, instead exile it with 3 egg counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Darigaaz is exiled with an egg counter on it, remove an egg counter from it. Then if Darigaaz has no egg counters on it, return to the battlefield. 1 copy of Zetalpa, Primal Dawn for 6 colorless and 2 plains. He's a 4/8 flying double strike, vigilance, trample, and indestructible. 1 copy of Zacama, Primal Calamity for 6 colorless, 1 mountain, 1 forest, 1 plains. He's a 9/9 vigilance, reach, trample. When Zacama Primal Calamity enters the battlefield, if you cast it, untap all lands you control. And then we can pay for his mountain ability. He deals 3 damage to target creature. His forest ability, destroy target artifact or enchantment. And his plains ability, you gain 3 life. And then finally, I just had to do it. I put 1 copy of Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger for 10 colorless. He's a 10/10 indestructible. When you cast this spell, exile 2 target permanents. Whenever Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of their library. So the idea behind this deck is very simple. We make all of these ridiculous creatures as cheap as possible. If I can get a Marauding Raptor into a Kethis, into a Goreclaw or a Nylea, we can be casting most of these cards on turn 5. We have for card draw, we have our Beast Whisperer. We also have some card draw in Kenrith. We also have some card draw in, where is that it? Oh yeah, Chulane. So that's our card draws. Our creatures are made cheaper by Umori. They're made cheaper by Marauding Raptor. Kethis makes our legendary creatures cheaper, which guess what? Majority of our deck is legendary creatures, so they're even cheaper. Goreclaw makes creatures with power 4 or greater cheaper, which all these creatures, excluding 2, are all 4 or more, so they become cheaper. Nylea makes our creatures cheaper. So you get what we're trying to do here, and then we just try and overwhelm the opponent at the end of toward the end of the game with these ridiculous creatures that are really hard to deal with. Also, to mention, or I should say Yidaro, is a free cycling mechanic, and we don't have to worry about him ever going into the graveyard. So you can just cycle him early game to get a little extra card draw as well. Getting into the mana base I chose. I'm only running 25 lands. This is a first rendition of this deck, so obviously I could make some tweaks, but as long as we get 3 starting lands in our opening hand, I'm happy with that. Because of all of the ramp as far as reducing the costs of our creatures. So anyways, I'm running 1 plains, 1 island, 1 swamp, 1 mountain, 1 forest, 2 overgrown tombs, 2 stomping grounds, 2 Temple Gardens, 2 Breeding Pools, 1 Savai Triome, 1 Ketria Triome, 1 Indatha Triome, 1 Rogarin Triome, 1 Zagoth Triome, 4 Ancient Ziggurats, and 3 Fabled Passage. We're rocking the Chandra Immolation sleeve. I have an average converted mana cost of 4.4 with 35 creatures running 25 lands. So let's hop into some games and see how we do. Once again, this is a jank deck. I'm not expecting this deck to be competitive. I'm just having fun today. And as always, if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitch. It's free to you and helps us out so much. Also, feel free to drop me a comment, talk about deck ideas, misplays, strategy, anything like that. I read the comments daily. And lastly, if you have any friends or family that are interested in Magic, please share the channels with them. And thank you for watching. So let's see. Creatures on sale cheap. Is that the new card set that's coming out? I'm not 100% familiar with that Double Masters. Okay, yeah, I haven't really like taken a look at any of the cards yet, so. I just wish they would incorporate more of the old school sets. Like when I was doing this in beta, we had a Monket and then what was the other one? Kaladesh even. So I know it's in the system. I don't understand why it's taking them so long to release it. I mean, I hate to say it, I would eventually even pay for it again because I had it before, but I wish they would bring in some new and older sets, different formats. Alright, so we have a 2-lander here. I unfortunately don't have my Marauding Raptor. I don't have a red source. And I don't have a Dryad. So unfortunately, I think we're going to have to mulligan this. This looks much better. We will drop a Dryad in this case. So we're going to keep this. I'm going to drop a Dryad. Dryad allows us to start off with a Zagoth Triome tapped. Dryad allows us to play 2 mana per turn, and that ability does stack. I see more green in my hand, so we'll go with green first. Black and white. Okay. Vampire deck. Doesn't really matter, I guess, which one I play. I'll play Ancient Ziggurat. I'll play Dryad. Play the Swamp. Next turn we'll play our Umori. And we could play our Sisma. How about you? Have you looked at any of the cards from the set? How do you feel about them? Mint. Alright, here we go. Does he have a pump spell? Let's find out. No pump spell, no disfigure. So here I play Umori. We'll name creature. Umori's kind of obviously the given. And no attacks. Okay, that's interesting. I did like the mutate mechanic. As you see in this deck, I have a couple of mutate creatures. I wish they would have given me a little bit more variety. Very few common and uncommon mutations in the deck, and it was really heavy in like black and green. But yeah, I feel like, I mean, as the last couple days, ever since this Historic Anthology 3 came out, I've been like playing Historic nonstop. I just feel like it's obviously a more interesting format, just like if they would add the master sets or some of the out of meta sets, even older. Because I feel like these historic anthologies are cool, but I mean, you know, I want more cards than just, you know, 25 or 30 cards, and just a better variety. Alright, so, got a couple of options here. I can Sisma. I don't really want to cycle. Oh yeah, I love the Eldrazi's. I have a couple paper Eldrazi decks that I play with my son. They're one of my favorite creature types. Let's see. I think we can cast this next turn. So, it's 2 red, 2 red. Actually, we can't. So I'm going to cycle this, because it's a free cycle anyways. Goes back into our deck. We draw another cow. Okay, no attacks here. If the opponent doesn't have any removal, these creatures don't really scare me, because we're going to start dropping... Yeah. Another thing, Mint, I think we're supposed to be going back to Zendikar this year with one of the later sets, so I'm hoping they reintroduce the Eldrazi. I know a lot of people really loved them, and a lot of people really hated them, so it's one of those touchy subjects. But yeah, we're supposed to be going back to Zendikar, so hopefully we see something. Alright. He does nothing. He must be waiting for me to drop a bomb so I can... We'll wait on him. I'm going to play Darigaaz here to go in for some damage. Nebraska's Contempt, okay. Cool. No attacks. End the turn. Alright, so still could be holding up some removal here. Hopefully it's not more exile. Yeah, man, that is true. It's their abilities are pretty ridiculous, but I mean, they do cost the equivalent, I think. All right, so he's going in with a 5/5. Let's see what he does here. I'm assuming he's going to put the Goreclaw first. Yes. Alright. So... I think I just mutate onto the Dryad to kind of take some heat off of Umori. We'll put Violent on top. And then we'll return the Goreclaw from our graveyard to the battlefield. And we'll hold up the attacks. Key timing for my opponent to exile Darigaaz. Very, very good timing for him. But yeah, man, if you're comfortable putting your profile or your display name for me, I can add you as a friend as soon as I'm done with my stream today, and we can play. I'm on every day for a couple hours a day. All right, so now we play Beast Whisperer. Do I Goreclaw just to draw a card? So I think what I'll do here is I'll go in with the Goreclaw and Violent, just to kind of try and get him to trade. He doesn't want to trade, okay. Well, that's fine. I'm happy with that. We're going in for 5. I still have a blocker with Umori. He could have a pump spell or something. I'm assuming he's going to go in with the Angel. Goes in with the Sky. Okay, so he's just trying to do his maximum damage. Opponent could also have Settle the Wreckage. That's my favorite form of removal in Historic, especially at instant speed. Okay. Alright, opponent's just gaining... Oh, look at that. Got him! What do we want to do here? Let's take out you and you. Yeah. It's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful time in the neighborhood. Alright, what do we want to do here? He's coming in for 10. Let's go in with you and you. That way I get recast bonus for Goreclaw. Because whatever... I'm really not that good, man. It's all about the deck, honestly. The player has... I'm not one of those people where I think that the player has majority to do with it. I think it's the deck. If you have really good cards, you're probably going to outperform a deck that doesn't. Or if your deck's really low to the ground, especially in this meta, you know, if you're not an aggro deck, you're usually dead in turn 3 or 4. It's just been kind of shitty lately. I've been playing in the play modes because the competitive decks are just so nasty. They're either stealing all your shit by turn 4 or 5, or you're already dead on board by mono red or whatever. And I have those decks too for climbing the ladder, but I'm not really that good of a player. I just enjoy the game, but I appreciate the comment. All right, so what's the move here? Let's fuck them up. Let's mutate onto Sisma. We get a trigger for the mutation as well, because technically it is a creature coming into the battlefield. Trying to take the alright, so we'll put Yidaro over for the higher power and toughness. Yes, I will take that action. Put Nylea onto the board. Let's play out the Beast Whisperer here. Oops. I don't know why he said oops. Do I have another Sisma? Okay, so I think that's enough. Just gonna go in with 1. Don't know what the opponent... Yeah, man, I Platinum is tough right now. I'm in Platinum Tier 1. I have been for the last couple days. I haven't really been trying to rank too hard. I'm going to keep these in my hand just to see what he's doing, because he says oops. I don't know if that means he has a Settle the Wreckage in hand. Plays another Sky Marcher. Okay. Well, now he can't settle, so I'm coming in. Yeah, man, Mint, I just wanted to thank you again for reaching out, man. I've been doing this now for like 3 months straight, and I stream on Twitch 2 or 3 times, or 2 or 3 hours every day almost, and then like I do my hour recording episode for my YouTube channel once a day usually, and like I've been doing this for a long time, and you're the first person to actually ever like reach out and like chat and all that stuff, so I really appreciate it. Oh yeah, no worries. If you play a friend, you can just play whatever cards you have. It doesn't. There's no like format. You know what I mean? If you're playing a friend, you can even play ban cards. Yeah, pass. My turn. All right, sorry. I'm gonna Gonna end this for our friend here. So what do I want to do here? Let's... Do I have anything worth returning? Oh yeah, I do. So let's return Biolant. And let's give everybody haste. And let's put a 1/1 counter on this guy. And let's attack him with you and you and you. Good. Exile 20 cards. I feel bad though because besides this guy's Vraska Contempt, this looks like a starting deck, and this deck is got a lot of retarded power, especially if I have this engine on board. But I'm glad I got to showcase the ridiculousness. Good game, man. Oh, that was ridiculous. That felt good. Alright. Wow. Take down a victory with the jank. Taps of Osiris. Fellow Nicole Ballas fan. I like it. Oh, right on, man. For sure. Yeah, man, it's definitely helped me keep my mind off all this crap. I haven't had a job for the last 2.5 months. I haven't been able to get through on unemployment. It's scary. All right, so we got a 3-lander here, which is nice. I have a Nylea. I do have the double for Beast Whisperer. I guess we can't really be greedy, right? But then again, if we have a slow... Ah, fuck it, we'll keep it. If we're fighting aggro... Oh, this is Karuga. I don't know how we're going to do against this. Start off with the Overgrown tapped. Jesus. Alright. Good game. Good game. Gotta love those cocky assholes. Can't read anything, discard a card. Let's go with Zacama, I guess. He's the most expensive. I'm gonna meet this guy.
Right on schedule.
Curator's Wand.
Let's take it back.
That'd be cool with Yorion. Curator's Wand. Let's drop a Beast Whisperer first since we have 2, because I know he has some type of removal.
Hold that thought.
Yeah, this guy seems like a douchebag. It's like if you're good, cool. But you don't have to rub it in, no one likes that shit. Although I will say anytime I beat mono red, especially if a non-competitive deck, I get very excited. This is Curator's Wand. Books. Our set.
Keep an open mind.
Drawn from Dreams. Maybe he doesn't have removal yet. There's so much good removal in the historic format. What do I want to do here? I don't want to play Beast Whisperer first. Oh, that's right. Narset shuts my card draw down. Alright, well, I definitely want to take Teferi out. It's such a cool card, Curator's Wand. I always love the cards in like the older formats where you kind of overlooked them before, but now like putting them together with newer cards has made this cool combo. I always thought that was cool. Yeah, I hear you on that, man. Fucking mono red, man. It's just like, oh, turn 3, I'm dead. Okay, wow. It's great. I almost feel like, you know, it's... Let's face it, they know what each player's playing in the computer. I think that they should play, or maybe they should even ask you, is this, before you go into a play mode, is this going to be competitive play? Is this like janky play? Is this like something that's... Alright. Now I'll say good game. And I'm glad I made you wait through it, asshole. Anyways, yeah. I think that they should have like a, it's been saying that lately, leave match. I think they should have something like that, where you should be able to decide, you know, if you want to play against competitive players or if you want to play against, because you're not getting rewards for it, so it doesn't behoove you to lie. Yeah, let's just keep playing another one. So we got a 3-lander here. I do have a Dryad and I have a Beast Whisperer. We'll keep this. I'll start off with the Indatha tapped. Of course. Play Overgrown Tomb tapped. Next turn we can play Ancient Cigarette. Oh, okay. Yeah, so the idea is I have Umori as my companion, which makes my cheapest creature if we can get him to stick on the board. Dryad fixes my color base, and then I have a bunch of other creatures, like Marauding Raptor makes my creatures cheaper. Goreclaw makes creatures with power 4 or less 2 less cheaper. I also have 3 Kethis, which makes legendary permanents cheaper. So I can play some of these. If I have 2 of them, I can play Zetalpa for 2 planes sometimes. Doesn't happen a lot, but... Alright, I gotta pay attention here. What do I need? I need... blue, I guess? So, I forgot about this. You gotta select it and then do this. I'm doing this to thin out the deck. Okay. So, do I play Umori here? Opponent's clearly playing counter spells. So let's start off with the Beast Whisperer. Okay, he doesn't counter it, so he must have some type of a board control. He could also have enchantment-style prison. I'm just so weary of playing historic format because they could have any type of removal. But yeah, and then the rest of the deck is a bunch of legendary retarded creatures that just are hard to deal with. I have an Ulamog in here. I don't want to overcommit with the 3rd Beast Whisperer. Let's see if this gets countered. This doesn't get countered either. Okay. So here I'll play the Breeding Pool tapped, and we'll search up a mountain. I'll go ahead and show you the deck list again, and then when I post the video later on YouTube, I'll also include the deck list in the description. Alright, so I'm just going to go in with these two right now. Opponent has to have some type of a board wipe or something. I don't know. Cool, appreciate it. You don't want me to draw more cards, man. Although he could be playing like planar cleansing. So this is the Marauding Raptor. This kind of makes things cheaper. So we'll play Savai tapped. I'll play out my Marauding Raptor. And oh, that's asking for it, right? Much rather make him waste his board wipes on one creature at a time. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Ixalan's Binding. All right. Yeah, so this is some type of control deck. So let's do Goreclaw. I'm just going to play one creature at a time here to try and get all the cards out of his hand. But yeah, I switched from downloading updates from their server and their client to the Epic Games Store. It's kind of speeded up my process. If you want to try that, that worked for me. The installs and stuff take like half as long, and it's less buggy. It doesn't crash as much. What kind of deck is this? It's not a Field of the Dead deck. I guess he's getting ready to do another time wipe. But if he's running enchantment prisons too, it kind of sucks. So I'm gonna pay 2 here. Could play a Thryx, and then I could play Zetalpa. Alright, cool, man. Agent of Treachery, nice. Weird ass deck. Scary. Pack, nice. Just crack it. That's Oasis. Hop into another one here. Alright, so I got a nice 3-lander, but I don't have any early interaction, and I have nothing to make my creatures cheaper, so we're going to mulligan this. Oh, we do get a Nylea this time, and a Goreclaw's nice.
King Caesar. Yeah, I guess. We'll lead off with a breeding pool. Pick up the Jegantha. Play the breeding pool tapped. Thryx. I have the Carnarium. Does he have 2? Thryx has a bunch of nasty tricks. So we'll lead off with a Goreclaw. Lead off with a Nylea.
I am one again.
What do we exile here? Can have the Nylea, I guess.
My intellect is without limit.
Could have an extinction event. Could have Vraska's Contempt. Guess we give her the Nylea.
It's a moat of my power.
Eugene.
I am ancient and wise. I can create or destroy.
Gotha. Going for the bolus, of course.
Defiance has
Tells me he probably has either something in his hand to take care of my creature, or hey Mint, what's going on? Just coming back to me getting my ass whooped by a top tier Grixis deck. Alright.
secrets manifest before you.
Just gonna go ahead and activate this. Really need any more land right now. We need more answers. And I'm just gonna concede this one. Just no sense in dragging this out. So let's hop into another one here, and then I'll go back into the deck list one more time for you. Vitaline. Alright, whoa. Marauding Raptors, okay. That's the only problem with the Marauding Raptors. If you draw multiples, it's kinda hurts you. But yeah, let's keep this. And that way we have an extra one. Oh. Life gain. Actually can curve out here. So let's play Ancient Ziggurat first. Here's Hawk. Marauding Raptor. Fucking Heliod too, Jesus. Guess we do Umori here. Name creature. Yeah, Heliod life gain combo is so busted. I have a couple decks of it. Oh.
Everything
Strength
will be
and pride,
fine
too.
if we stand together. A pure soul will inspire others.
Wow. Need some indestructible creatures. That's a LAIR. So let's play Marauding Raptor. Yeah, and then the Soul Warden with the Heliod is just so busted, man. Yeah. She's attacking. Yeah, I mean, we're not much we can do there. Alright, so one more time I will show you the deck and kind of go over it real quick for you. So Umori helps make all of our creatures cheaper because all we're running in the deck is creatures. Marauding Raptor makes our creatures cheaper. Dryad helps us fix our colors and allows us to play additional lands that we might have in our turn or in our hand. Kethis makes all legendary spells, including creatures, cost 1 less, and then we can exile 2 legendaries later on from our graveyard and bring it back. Goreclaw also makes creatures with power 4 or greater cost 2 less, and he has an additional bonus. Nylea makes our creatures cost 1 less. So ideally, if we have, let's say, 1 Marauding Raptor, 1 Umori, 1 Kethis, Goreclaw, and a Nylea, that's 6 less to cast. So Ulamog will cost 4. Zacama will just be cost us a forest, a mountain, and a plains. You get the idea. It's pretty nasty. Jegantha also will help us cast the majority of these creatures, all the mutations. We can just tap him and just pay for it. Zacama, anything. So it can be explosive. It can be nasty. It's not competitive though. There's not enough individual target removal and board wipes. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, like always, if you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitch, DREMORIAN. Feel free to drop a comment. And if you have any friends or family that enjoy Magic, please share the channel and channels with them. Until tomorrow, you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.